A man went to God and asked, "What is the value of life?" God gave him a stone and said, "Find its value, but do not sell it." The man took the stone and went to an orange seller, who offered 12 oranges for it. The man said no because God told him not to sell it. He then showed the stone to a vegetable seller, who offered a sack of potatoes. Again, he declined. Next, he went to a jewelry shop. The jeweler offered him $150 for the stone, but the man still said no. Finally, at a gem shop, the seller saw the stone was very special and said it was priceless, beyond money. The man, surprised, went back to God, told him everything and asked, "So what is the answer?" God said, "The way people saw the stone is like how life's value varies with each person. Some might not see your true value, but to the right person and to God, you are very valuable. Believe in your own worth." A man once saw a few elephants. He was confused by the fact that these huge creatures were being held by only a small rope tied to their front leg. No chains, no cages. It was obvious that the elephants could, at any time, break away from their bonds, but for some reason they did not. He saw a trainer nearby and asked why these animals just stood there and made no attempt to get away. "Well," trainer said, "when they are very young and much smaller, we use the same size rope to tie them, and at that age it's enough to hold them. As they grow up, they are conditioned to believe they cannot break away. They believe the rope can still hold them, so they never try to break free." The man was amazed. These animals could at any time break free from their bonds, but because they believed they couldn't, they were stuck right where they were. Like the elephants, how many of us go through life hanging on to a belief that we cannot do something simply because we failed at it once before? Father and son had been arguing for months about the bad influence of the son's best friend. Every attempt by the mother to reconcile them failed. For her birthday, she wished for a trip to the forest. The son agreed, but only if his best friend could come along. When the day came, the mom was ill, but wanted them to go anyway. The best friends promised each other that they would remain united in any case of danger. Suddenly, they saw a large bear approaching them. His best friend and his father climbed a nearby tree, but the son failed to climb. So being led by his common sense, he lay down on the ground breathless, pretending to be a dead man. His father, seeing the bear coming closer, jumped down the tree and lay down on his son's body to protect him. He whispered to his son, "Whatever happens, don't move. I love you, son." The bear came near. It smelt at the son's ear and slowly left the place, because the bears do not touch the dead creatures. His best friend on the tree came down and asked, "What did the bear at your ear?" The son realized the endless love of his father and replied, "He told me how lucky I am to have such a father and how much I love him too." A kindergarten teacher asked the children to write the name of the person they hate on a potato and put it in a plastic bag. Some had 2 or 3 potatoes, while some up to 5 potatoes. The teacher then told the children to carry the plastic bag with them wherever they go for 1 week. Days passed, and the children started to complain due to the unpleasant smell let out by the rotten potatoes. Besides, those having 5 potatoes also had to carry heavier bags. After 1 week, the teacher asked, "How did you feel while carrying the potatoes with you for 1 week?" The children let out their frustrations and started complaining of the trouble that they had to go through having to carry the heavy and smelly potatoes wherever they go. The teacher said, "This is exactly the situation when you carry your hatred for somebody inside your heart. The stench of hatred will contaminate your heart, and you will carry it with you wherever you go. If you cannot tolerate the smell of rotten potatoes for just 1 week, can you imagine what is it like to have the stench of hatred in your heart for your lifetime? Forgiving others is the best attitude to take." A philosophy professor placed a large jar on the table. He began placing large stones into the jar until he could fit no more and asked, "Is this jar full?" The student said yes. The professor then started pouring pebbles into the jar, shaking it slightly. The pebbles rolled into the open spaces between the stones. Again he asked, "Is this jar full now?" Some students started to understand his point and hesitated, but many agreed again. Lastly, the professor then started pouring sand into the jar. The tiny grains filled all the remaining interstitial spaces. Only then did he agree that the jar was indeed full and explained, "This jar signifies your life. The stones are the important things, your family, health, and friends. Things that if everything else was lost, your life would still be full. The pebbles are the other things that matter. Your job, your house, your car. The sand represents the small stuff, the trivial things." He continued, "If you put the sand or the pebbles into the jar first, there's no room for the stones. The same goes for life. If you spend all your time and energy on the small stuff, you'll never have room for the things that truly matter most."